Well, here we are. I guess you would call this the Yuma Ordeal.
So the guy came to work. Just look at Henry. Look at his tongue sticking out there. This guy was supposed to come and work on our RV today. He's had our money for over a week. And supposedly the parts came on, I guess the parts came on Friday. And so he came today, but he didn't have the right jack that he needed. And he left, and he didn't tell us he left. And it's been a couple of hours, and it's just been pretty nerve-wracking trying to wait for him. But anyway, that's why this thing is up on the bed, because we didn't know if we were going to have to close the slides. But Henry got his tongue sticking out there. Are you funny, Henry? Ollie's laying over here. You laying over here, Ollie? Yeah. Ollie's a good boy. Henry's a good boy, too.
Well, here we are. I guess you would call this the Yuma Ordeal. Trying to get our bushings and our springs replaced, and we've been trying to get that done now for how long has it been?
Quite a while. More than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, for months, but
Yeah.
over 2 weeks.
So we were supposed to get this done yesterday, and where we were, the individual who was going to put them in for us didn't feel comfortable where we were. We were on BLM land, and he felt like it wasn't stable enough there. It was too rocky, and so he asked us to come somewhere else. You want to explain what happened, like how this whole ordeal was with the whole bushings and everything?
The communication with this person has been pretty bad, and 2 weeks ago we were leaving Yuma, and we went by his place, and he took the measurements, and he was supposed to order the parts and let us know when they come in. He said it would be a few days, and a few days went by. We didn't hear from him. So Sal contacted him, and he said, oh, he needed one more measurement, and he wanted us to measure, and we didn't know how to measure. He said from center to center wheel on the axle. We don't know what that means. So then he said, oh, he got it. He was able to order it. But first, he wanted us to pay for the parts. So Sal agreed to pay for the parts, and he ended up billing us for the parts and the labor and everything. And this is like almost 2 weeks ago. So then we're waiting for the parts to come in. We didn't hear from him. So then Sal contacted him, and he said, oh, they're not in yet. I'll let you know, because we were supposed to have it done last Thursday or Friday. And so Sal contacted him, and he said, oh, it didn't come in yet. I'll do it the day after it comes in. And then we didn't hear from him. So Friday, Sal contacted him, and he said, did the parts come in yet? And at the end of the day, he wrote and said the parts came in. When do you want to do it? So
Yeah.
we said Monday, because it was Friday. And he never got back to us. All weekend we had to wait and wonder.
Yep.
And then Monday morning, Sal contacted him and asked if he's coming. Now, the agreement was that he would come where we're camped, and he said it would be good to do it there.
Yeah.
And he did come.
Yeah.
And then he said he didn't have he needed a different jack. He asked if we had some kind of jack, if we had blocks, and
Yeah.
it just,
Yeah.
you know. Then he leaves. He doesn't even tell Sal. He said he might have to leave to go get a different jack, but then he just left, and he didn't tell Sal. He just left. So he's gone, and we're waiting and waiting and waiting. And then Sal finally wrote to him and said, hey, it was like over an hour. So what's going on? You left, and we didn't even know that you left.
Yeah.
And then we still didn't hear from him. Then finally, about 3 hours later, Sal calls him and he answers the phone, and he said, "Oh, he's been trying to think of what to do all day, of how to,
Yeah.
end up doing the work." it's just been one thing after another, and it's just been kind of frustrating. But hopefully he's actually going to meet us here. I mean, he's had our money for like 2 weeks now almost.
It's very early in the morning here,
Yeah.
so we just want to get this over with so we can move on with our lives, basically.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's been not fun dealing with this guy.
We originally were told we needed to get that replaced back in New York when we got the inspection done on the RV. They said we were going to have to get that done before the next inspection, otherwise it wouldn't pass inspection. And so I asked them, how for an estimate and how the procedure would be for that. And I told them we live in the RV, and he said we wouldn't be able to be in the RV because it would take 2 days back up there in New York where we take our RV for inspections, where we bought the RV. So we live in the RV. We had to find a way to have somebody do it while we were here in the RV, or at least nearby where it didn't take too long. So.
And then yesterday, while this fiasco was going on, we had work done in Tucson, and actually in our video when we were leaving Tucson, we went to that shop because we were going to ask him to do it.
Yeah.
And I ended up calling him, and he texted me back, and he gave me the name of a place in Tucson, that guy in Tucson. And so yesterday, with all this fiasco, I'm like, you know what, we need to find an alternate plan, because I don't know where this is headed with this guy. And so I ended up calling that place that this Choya guy recommended, and this guy said it wouldn't cost too much. It would only take a couple hours. I mean, this guy here charges for 5 hours of labor. I don't know. I'm just really upset about everything that, we've gone through with this guy. But,
well, God willing, he'll come and everything will work out, and we'll be done with this whole bushing spring ordeal thing.
If he shows up and does it, I'm going to see how long it takes him, and then I'll say something. If he's done in 3 hours and he charges for 5,
yeah,
I'm going to say something. So, because it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. It's just a $1,700 bill, and it's
wow, yeah,
a lot of. All right, well, hopefully he'll show up soon. He knows we're here.
Well, he's here.
It's 8:58. Let's see how long it takes him. He just left, going to get parts, because he said now we need shocks. And he's going to see if he can find them. Let's see how many hours he takes to get back. It looks like he left some tools here, so
that's on you. Look at that.
It looks like he's going to come back.
That's on you. It looks a lot better than what we had.
Put that on.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's done this part, and he's trying to see if he can get shocks. Shocks?
Shocks. He said they're not doing anything anymore. He's going to see if he can get some new shocks.
Oh, that must be this part. It's 12:06, and he just returned. So he was gone for almost 2 hours. We got the work done.
Quite an ordeal to get that done, but we finally got it done, thank God. So hopefully we won't have to get that done for a long time, if ever again. I think he did a good job, but overall he didn't communicate very well with us, and I think he might have charged us maybe a little bit more than he should have, but it's done, so thank you, Lord, for that. I think he overcharged us for hours that he didn't really work.
It only took him 3 hours, and he charges 5 hours for labor. And I had called Tucson, and Tucson charges $140 an hour for labor, and he charges $160, and it only took him about 3 hours. And he just said that it's an 8-hour job on the books, and if he gets it done faster, and he charges for 5, and if he gets it done faster, that's just more profit for him. He worked for an hour, and then he said we needed shocks, and he said he was going to go see if he could find some. And we were sitting there for 2 hours waiting for him to come back. And so then he comes back 2 hours later. He only got 2 shocks. He needed 4.
Yeah.
And then he ended up saying, you know what, you don't even need them.
Yeah.
So it was like we sat there for 2 hours for nothing. I said, it took 3 hours. Can you give us, you charge us for 5. Can you give us 2 hours worth of labor back? And he said no. And he just got upset. You know, I just was saying, I said they only charge $140 in Tucson. You charged $160 an hour. And then he told us it would take a couple hours in Tucson. And he said, it doesn't matter. This isn't Tucson. So finally I just said, okay. And I walked away. And then Sal said he was angry and he left.
Yeah.
He said he doesn't like that stuff.
Yeah.
He didn't use the word stuff though. He hates that stuff.
He hates that stuff, yeah. And
he didn't say stuff.
No, he used another word. But the work was done, and that's all that matters, I guess.
We don't want to hurt anybody's business. I'm sure if he does business with other people and they're not happy with it, they'll give him a bad rating. We're not going to give him a bad rating. We're just going to probably never deal with him again, I'm thinking. In Buffalo, they were saying that it would be a 2-day job and we couldn't be in our RV, and it's just, we need to be in our RV. We live in it.
Right.
So that's why we desperately wanted to get it done here, but it was quite an ordeal.
It was quite an ordeal.
It was awful. But we just tried to make the best of it.
Yeah, that's the best you can do.
All right, well, I guess that's it for now. Right now, let me show you where I am. It's a Humane Society thrift store. So I think I'm going to go take the boxes that we're donating, and then I'm going to come back. Henry, did you have a day of adventure? Sitting in the truck all day? Sitting in the truck all day, waiting for that guy to get the work done? What about you, Seymour? Did you have a day of adventure? Did you have a day of adventure, Allie? Waiting for that? It's sitting in the crate all day, waiting for the RV to get done? Yeah, it was quite a day, wasn't it? Okay, take a nap now. We're gonna lay on the bed and just lay on the bed and do nothing for a while until it's time to go to bed.